And in fact, I went to Boston College for a brief time, a Jesuit school, where the Jesuits took good care of me, and I was blessed a lot by the Jesuits. And I was comfortable with it. I'm fine with that. I'm very relaxed with all of that. But what I found useful was my understanding of what Spock was experiencing as an alienated character, because as the movie tells us, his mother is human, his father's Vulcan, so on the Vulcan planet he's considered a half-breed, and he's sort of an outcast. Doesn't belong really on Earth because he's this strange alien creature. So he finds a home in Starfleet where his alien aspect is acceptable, and he's a member of Starfleet, a full-fledged member of a ship in Starfleet. I found it useful to bring my alienated experience as a young boy into that character, and I found myself at home with Spock. And then it's true, you probably know the story about how this began, but I'll tell it to you briefly. We were doing an episode called Amok Time. I thought it was a wonderful episode, beautifully written by Theodore Sturgeon, and very well directed. And it was the first time the words "live long and prosper" was spoken, was in that episode. And we're going to Vulcan to meet Spock's Vulcan peers, and Spock is betrothed to be married. He's in the mating season. It happens once every 7 years. Yeah. It's quite an event. And well worth waiting for.
Tell me you're recording.
So we go to Vulcan, and I was particularly keen to find possibilities to develop the Vulcan culture, because this was the first time we're seeing other Vulcans. First time we're going to the Vulcan planet and seeing them. We'd only seen Spock, the only Vulcan we'd seen up to that point. So we get to the planet, and I'm to meet T'Pau, the lady who's going to officiate at the ceremony, and she's a very important figure. We discover that she's the matriarch of the planet. She says, "Welcome home, Spock," and I say something like, "Well, it's nice to be here, and thank you." And I said to the director, I think we should find something that Vulcans do when they meet. What is it about the Vulcan people? He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, humans shake hands with each other, and military people salute each other. Asian people often bow to each other when they meet. What do Vulcans do?" And he said, "Well, what do you like to do?" So I thought back to my Jewish cultural heritage when I was a kid, going to the high holiday services with my family. There comes a point in the service where the congregation is blessed by a group of gentlemen who are known as Kohanim. They are the members of the priestly tribe. They bless the congregation with a blessing that translates into, we find it in the New Testament as well, "May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his countenance to shine upon you. May the Lord turn his graciousness unto you and grant you peace." And when they do this, the congregation standing, I'm with my father and my brother and my grandfather. Women are segregated in the Orthodox service. Women are upstairs in the balcony, my mother and grandmother. And we're standing, and my father said to me, "Don't look." Well, I was 8 years old, and I peeked. I wanted to see what's going on, you know. And in fact, the whole congregation got their eyes covered with their hands and their prayer shawls over their heads. And I hear this chanting, this wailing sound, these gentlemen up in front of the congregation chanting in Hebrew, which I didn't understand. But I was curious about what they were doing up there, and I looked and I peeked, and I saw them doing this to the congregation. It's an absolutely magical thing. Every time I do that, flashbulbs go off. Every time. So I had no idea what it was all about, but I was doing as I was told, except that I was peeking, and I'm not supposed to. And I was fascinated by this gesture, and I learned to do it. I didn't know it would come in handy someday, but anyway, I said to the director, why don't we have Vulcans do this? And he had no idea what it was, and I said, "Okay, fine, we'll do that." So we went to the actress who was playing T'Pau, and the director said, "Leonard, we'll do that, and you'll respond." And we had to help her because she hadn't practiced it like I had, so she couldn't really do it very well. She held her right hand ready with her left hand. And when the time came, when I raised my hand, she was ready and she raised hers, and that's how we got it. So, bravo.
What happened? Oh, maybe.
What did you say?